guys. Thank you for tuning in again on another episode of Building Empire Network. We have a special host with us today, Mr. Silent Killer Joe Cott, and Christina Franco.
There you go.
Yeah, and before we get started, I just want to say a little intro about Joe because he likes to be on the silent side. But Joe's been he's a really good friend of mine. We actually went to high school together, and we didn't even know. But he's been doing sales for a while. Always been an entrepreneur. He's done businesses, also does real estate, multifamily, and other things that he does. But he's gonna come in here and just talk about how his journey, how he started, and just kind of where he's going. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Joe, well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. So just kind of tell us a little bit, Joe, about how you started or like what did you do before real estate?
So I've been a business owner since pretty much I graduated high school. I've been reselling shoes, and for a long time, maybe 10 plus years, I ran poker games for a while. So that ended maybe in 2016 when I decided that I wanted to kind of go into real estate. So I took whatever I had, and I bought a couple of rental properties. And at that time it was fairly cheap. So we were getting properties for like 60, 70, 80,000. And, just fixing them up, and didn't really understand what I was doing, but I understood, if you buy a distressed asset and you put a little bit of money in it, that you're going to add value to the property. Right. So I was doing that and I was renting it out. So I did that for a year, and it was going okay. I thought that, real estate and buying rental properties, the returns weren't as high as, investing into a business. And I really didn't see it like that. So I kind of was like, this is kind of slow. So then I started looking into like joint ventures and doing partnerships and, partnering with other builders to do spec homes. And I did that for about 2 to 3 years. And then, I, ran into I lost some money here and there, with bad joint ventures. And then I was like, man, you know what? I think that if I could stick to, keeping the rental portfolio going and just staying consistent and, just staying on track, I think that, in the long term, 5, 10, 15 years later, it'll be worth it. So I think that's where we're at now. So the next 3 years, all I did was just focus on being more organized and buying more rental properties.
That's awesome. But the one thing too is that is real important is that he has a construction company, and he keeps if you listen closely to what he said, he also said that in the rental money, it was slow. It was a slow return. So he has his construction company. That's what brings, the revolving money faster. You put in the work, you get it right back. And with rental, it was even said last night, you can't really live off of cash flow. It's slow money. It's once a month. And if you know what you're collecting once a month, you can't go out of what your budget is. There's no way.
For sure.
Yeah. So tell us about your construction company, and do you use your construction company to fix your own flips, and do you go out of your construction company to also do others?
Yeah. So our construction company was pretty much created just so that we can actually do our own projects, and we can actually bring in staff to do other people's projects to kind of alleviate some of the costs that it would be. Right. So we do other people's, but we prefer to pretty much do our own. The projects that we have, do take a long time, so we just like to have more control and keep it in house.
And do you build like from scratch?
Yeah, we've done it before, and we do it right now. So we're framing a house over in Missouri City right now. We can build. We do ground up construction, so turnkey and everything.
And there you go, guys. That's something to know. Somebody that understands budget, because when you have an investor that's actually doing construction, they know where your budget needs to be. It's real important. You get a lot of contractors out there that do high-end things and they charge high-end prices, and you really get the same. That's where we talk about how Andrea does the hotel property and versus the flip property. You're going to be in the flip 6 months and Andrea's in and out. So it's not what you put in it, it's what you're really trying to get out of it. That's the sight of the investor. So you got to really look into that. you were also talking about, and it really just put a little glimpse in my eye with him, because he's a very humble person, and he looked at it. He looks at his portfolio like it's not the doors, it's the equity. Explain that to them, what that is.
Okay, so I guess, I mean, you need to put a metric on everything you're doing, right? You want to grow.
Right.
So definitely, when we talk with our team and we're trying to build up, our goal for the quarter, our goal for the year, we do look at numbers. But I don't focus myself on doors, because unless you're in the same asset class and you're using it
Mhm.
over and over again,
Right.
and it's the same price, each door is going to be average out to be the same amount.
Mhm.
But like for us, our main focus before was single family rentals, and which it still is right now, because we like single family rentals because you're in and out in 4 weeks,
Right.
sometimes 6 weeks. But the thing is that it's getting harder and harder to come by due to hedge funds or the retail market.
Andrea taking the deals. No,
Andrea,
okay.
Casper Keys hoteling
Yeah.
the deals. So for sure, I mean, that kind of changes everything. So
Mhm.
we go into, you can't compare. We don't count doors, because you might have another property that's 3 doors, but worth $1 million, right?
Right.
So the average out doesn't really make sense. So me, myself, and my wife,
Mhm.
we focus on more so the equity side. So growth of equity, and then on top of that, how much equity we have in each project that we do.
Right.
So whenever we refinance, that's where our key is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you refinance, do you leave your equity there or do you pull it out?
We leave our equity. I mean, no matter what, the bank's gonna want you. So our motto is just buy cash, and when we rehab it and rent it out, we gonna refinance, and we'll leave up 20, 25, 30%, depending on what kind of deal it is.
Right.
And we always look at the cash flow, we look at where we're at, and on top of that, we want to see what cash flow we have as a company as a whole.
Mhm.
So the first 1 to 5 years from year one, and then when I started buying again 3 years ago, all of our loans were 20-year AMs on all of our single family.
Mhm.
So this year is the first year we actually got a guidance line for 25-year AMs, so that we
Mhm.
can actually enjoy some more of the cash flow, right?
Right.
In the first 5 years, we really didn't need the cash flow. We're actually working more, so the cash flow really didn't mean nothing to us.
Mhm.
So we staggered it that way on
Right.
purpose, so that it's good for us.
Right.
And the reason you did that was because you were like, okay, it has equity. It might not be cash flowing, but it has equity.
We're still cash flowing a little bit, even with 20% AM. We're still like either breaking even or making like $100 a property.
Can you tell us what the 20% M is?
So
Mhm.
20% AM is where your payments are broken over 20 years. Just like when
Mhm.
you're buying like a house, most houses for like a owner occupant is going to be like a 30-year AM, right?
Mhm.
But when you're in the investment, you're buying like commercial paper.
Yeah.
You could do 20, 25-year AM. There's some people that do 30-year AM, but the thing is that you're going to be paying for a lot of fees up front for a 30-year AM.
Yeah.
So depending on what situation you're in and what your cash flow at that time is, or where you're at in life, you might want a little bit more or less, right? So
I see. So now they're giving you more.
I asked for more because
Okay.
we want to
Okay,
enjoy our
no,
life
we
more,
would,
right?
yeah.
We want to be able to go on more vacations.
He
We
should
wanna
have been
be-
like, I want 50 M.
Wish.
yeah. So definitely, it just depends on what you want, right?
Right,
I mean, I don't
right.
want to be working till I'm 50, and
Mhm.
I mean, I still want to work, right? But I want to be able to enjoy,
Mhm.
your benefits.
How has it been for you, like with the interest? I've been hearing, like last night, a lot of people talking about the inflated rates and all that stuff. Do you really feel in your personal business how we buy as investors? Do you think it's really going to affect us?
No, I don't think so at all.
Mm-mm.
The rate right now is the same it was in 2019, and
Right.
investors were still buying in 2019. So
Right.
what difference does it make?
Mhm.
I just think that they just saw like a little glimpse of 2.9,
Yeah.
3% interest rates, and they think that was going to be like that forever.
Yeah.
So I believe that those were able to the people that were able to capitalize on it did,
Mhm.
and right now you just shouldn't be scared. I mean,
Right.
the rates were the same before.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Mhm.
it doesn't make a difference.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
So
important.
don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Scare money don't make money.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and you have to look at it. And that's what he's saying. Like, as investors, I mean, I was always used to paying the 12%. And when I tell other people, yeah, I have a mortgage out there that's like 12%, and it's an investment, and they're like, like, that's crazy. But it's cash flowing, it's bringing in the money. I don't care. Sometimes you have to pay to play, you know. And if I go and I take $100,000 or $200,000 to pay that off cash just because I want to save a couple of percentages, I'm not going to be able to move forward. So you have to know how to monopolize your money, because investments is a big monopoly, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if missed opportunities too.
There you go.
We're not Bezos or we don't have all this money.
Hey, say who now?
But I'm just saying, like someone like me, right? We can't just sit there and all of our money get locked up. We could buy so many properties, but the thing is, like, once you use all your own capital, I mean, you have another opportunity. Are you just going to turn it down because you have no more capital?
Right.
Yeah.
You need to go out and either get a bridge loan or take a hard money loan.
Oh, God,
because the thing is that if you know that you can execute, then you taking a hard money loan is you're getting another property, right? So it's something and at low risk for you.
Right.
So don't look at the loss, don't look at the high interest and let it scare you away. Just understand that at the end of the day, how much is that costing you?
When I went to this event, to the all-in event this weekend, and there was this guy named Cesar Pena. They call him like the leverage king, and he started like that. He said that he just got all these hard money lenders to help him, and then what he did was whenever he was asking for the repair money to fix it, he was asking for more. So he's able to like pull out. He goes, and if you think about it, when I was pulling out, I was getting the money that I was putting back in. So I was actually coming in with no money. So, and he was like, I just started doing that again and again and again and again. But a lot of people are like, no, that's too high. He goes, as long as you run your numbers good, you can actually leverage hard money lending a lot better than you think you can. You can walk away with money. You can do a lot of things. You can use that money for something else if you like. So I thought that was a great, people shouldn't be scared. I know there's people that are like, oh, well, I use private lending. I mean, if you got to use hard money, then just use hard money.
Yeah.
Just say you got more in repairs and get more, and then you're able to kind of help you even you out.
Just build your relationship with your hard money lender too, right? I mean, they're willing to work with you. They're a business. I don't think that a lot of people kind of get scared about lenders, and they're always like, oh, I'm scared they're not going to lend me, or I'm scared they're going to do this. But they're just normal people like us, right? They just want to build a relationship. If they trust you, they're banking you, not banking, they're banking you as a person.
Right. Well, yeah, I know one of the things that I did was, and I shouldn't have done that, was I was using them just to be able to lend me on the property, but I was using my own rehab money. Then it kind of bit me in the butt, because then it's like, when you have so many projects going on, then you're like, wait a minute, I can't take another one because I got all my money tied up. So just get the rehab money from the lenders.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is that there's been a big hype and a fluff with how much some of us really make on our flips and our wholesales. Everybody thinks that a $3,000 wholesale isn't worth it like a $20,000 wholesale. It's the same thing.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you got to take it, because right now there's not much out there. There's not.
For sure.
So you have to really get it, get what comes, and that's it, and not be afraid of the interest. What would you share with us in a tip of your equity? What do you really look for in the equity? Is it the actual location? We know it's not the doors. Is it the location, or is it just what do you look for?
I mean, if I can get in and out of it quick. So more so depending on how the property is or how it's structured and how long my money is going to be in the property. So, a commercial property is going to take you anywhere between, 6 months to a year to get in and out of it. Right. A residential single family, you can get in and out of it in 4 to 6 weeks, depending on, who your lender is.
Right.
So definitely I look at more so how long my money's tied up. And on top of that, if I'm going to burn out of the property. If it's further from me, I want a higher return. But the thing is that if I can burn out of the property and just get my money back, I'm okay with it and just taking the asset. And then I'm okay.
Okay. So, and when he says burr, he means buy it, rehab it, rent it, refinance it. That's what we call the BRRRR, because I know a lot of people look like AM was amortization, what you're going to pay and how long, and it comes out. That's his AM, and the BRRRR is that. So that's where he's looking at, you're going to buy it, you're going to rehab it, you're going to rent it, and then you're going to refi it. And in all those things that didn't come in, what was unforeseen, what the interest rate is, what the holding cost is, and did it sell when you actually expected it to, or were you able to refi when you actually expected to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Those are the unseen costs. So you have to kind of inflate what you really are banking on, because once that money goes down, it's down. Just like Andrea said, ask for more. It's okay to ask for more. I always get these calls. Hold on, because then you can't hear nothing. Oops, sorry. I didn't realize my phone popped right in your face.
No, you're good.
Something's always happening.
You don't need extra gas coming out of
No. It's too expensive, girl. I can't give it away. Shit. Let's talk about that. You're in construction. Gas, how is that affecting you? I know that's crazy, but it's true. It costs to get there to your project and stuff.
Yeah. Prices are high. We just kind of factored into the price of the cost of the project. Right?
Yeah.
We try not to look at it just a cost of living.
Yeah, cost of living. There you go. You got to be positive about
I don't even
everything.
look at it either.
Yeah, I don't look at it.
I do. I'm trying to drive my little 4-cylinder.
Exactly. It's uncontrollable. What can you do?
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do?
That means we need to make more money too.
More money.
Yeah. That's one thing I learned. That's exactly right.
Mhm.
Like, don't worry about saving. Just worry about making more.
Yeah.
Right.
So are you teaching your son, because you say you have a son, so are you teaching him like what you do? Do you talk to him about it? And what age is he?
Yes. We do. He has a thing called Greenlight, which is like a savings card for kids.
Mm-hmm.
We try to teach him, like, I really like grade school, being, teaching him about financing.
He's smiling now.
Just teaching him about financing is, one of the things that I look forward to. So
I
definitely.
can't even imagine you not being great in school.
Yeah. But we do that. So definitely we do something to where, like, for all the money he receives, either from his birthday, Christmas, New Year's, we do a thing where he puts into his account, and for every dollar that he puts into his account, 25% goes into a spending account, 75% goes into a savings account, and then whatever he puts from his savings spending account over to his savings, he gets additional 20%, and then whatever he puts into his savings, into his stocks, he gets another 20%.
Wow,
Nice.
that's called Greenlight?
It's Greenlight. Oh, but this is like stuff metrics that we give him.
Oh, okay.
So even
Of
before
course.
he had like piggy banks.
He's a
Of course, he's a metrics guy.
Metrics guy.
So just the thing is, like, for example, my son, he'll get.
We need
money,
English,
right?
Joe. English. Not metrics.
It's just to give him goals, to think about it. Like, hey, you know what? Like, you have $100. Do you want to hold on to it in your spending, or do you want to put in here? You can get additional 20%.
Yeah.
And then once you get to a certain point, you can start using that money to, enjoy your life a little bit more.
So do you put in the 20% for him?
Yeah, we give him.
Okay.
See,
I was
that's
like, where's he
awesome.
getting that 20%?
It's still earned.
I was like, I need to get green light.
Yeah.
I need to get green light.
No. We're giving him the 20%.
Yeah.
So if I get green light with you, would you give me the 20%? But no,
Oh,
that is
man.
smart. I like that.
So we do that.
And we have to teach our kids what we're doing, because there's a frustration with our kids, me being where my kids are y'all's age, there's a frustration with the kids growing up with the things that we do, well, mom didn't show up, dad didn't show up, they had to go do this, they had to do that. So I think involving them is a good tip for people to use, whether my age, your age, our kids are still our future. So it's real important to kind of teach them on it and how it works and what happens. That way, when they see a little bit of frustration on our face, they never feel like it's them.
Yeah.
Or ever tell the kids, I do all this shit, I gotta work so hard because your ass, and that's how it was.
I'm like guilty.
But I think it all intertwines, because the greatest equity that we can place or have is the equity that we put in our kids.
For sure.
Because that's our future. Even though we go rounds with it, it is what it is.
I work with like my kids on their mindset, because I feel like that's the first, their confidence, the way when they make a decision, how, like, if people make them feel a certain way, like, hey, don't let people control your emotions, right? Because that was one of the things I had with my son, because he plays basketball, so it's like, oh, he did, and I'm like, hey, you're letting him control you. You need to learn how to control yourself. So things like that, because I feel like it's gonna help him teach him in life too. Like, hey, don't, if someone like pisses you off, you don't gotta overreact,
Right.
Hey, look at me, I'm saying it. And then somebody, but and then money, like how to finance the money, too,
right?
Because it's very. I was taught that as a kid, the money, just the money part, not the mindset. I wish it was a mindset, but my mom was very frugal with her money, so, and I was too. So that helps a lot.
Yeah. And you also said that your wife does the administration part, right?
Yeah. So
tell us about that.
Yeah, it's cool. So my wife is the best.
Shout out to the wife.
Shout out to the wife.
Yes.
Yeah. So she handles all the bill pay, utilities, admin, and organization of the company. Yeah. So yeah, we couldn't do it without her. So
there you go.
Nice.
There you go,
and
wife.
She's a full-time mom too.
And
so.
and that is
awesome.
work. Yes, that is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Lived it, made it. It can happen, but it has to be a support team with real estate. Because think about it, he's doing 2 businesses. He's doing his construction plus also doing the the rentals, the rehabs, all that stuff. It's like we're like a tree. We are well rooted, but we're branched so far out, and you have to have that team. It's the only thing that makes it work.
And he also, don't you have a warehouse where you put like he's like, why are you saying all my secrets?
No, you're good.
He's like, no, but yes, that's
so
we gotta dig it out of Joe.
Tell me.
He won't say it.
So we actually, when we're doing single family rentals, we know like we use the same material over and over again. Like it's cost saving, and we're always trying to make it very convenient for like our team and for us. And there's no decision. There's like, you don't have to worry about making decisions, right?
Right.
Like that.
So my wife, she doesn't really like this too much, but I like doing it. It's easy for me. So I pick the same tiles, same paint, same floors, same baseboards, same doors, everything at every single house. Yeah. So if you go into our warehouse, we have the same material over and over again, and we stock everything in our warehouse.
Right.
So we're
That's
buying.
really smart.
No, that is smart. It's important because not growing up, but coming up from my garage was my warehouse. I never had a garage, and I was jumping over tile to get to the laundry, and it's like that's a smart move.
And you also put like refrigerators, microwaves.
Oh God, I had all that in my backyard.
Like everything to do a house.
Yeah.
And I think that's really smart.
Yeah.
Because it's like, wow, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they have that floor for 30 cents, pick it all up.
Oh, as a landlord, when you go to do a make ready. And that one piece of tile was broken. And I'm telling you, because we had to change the plumbing at the house, at one of the houses that we had for sale. So we had to pop off the tile. And when it popped off, what happened? It cracked. And there we were looking for a 3x6 subway tile. Yeah. Going all around town.
Not Joe. Like, I got you.
He has it.
Don't worry, I got you.
He has it.
We need to replace the floor. I got it.
And it's smart to use the same thing
it
over
is.
and over. Yeah, you simplify
Zero
it.
waste.
Yeah.
You're just moving to the next project.
Yeah, that's why some of the biggest franchises use red. Some of them use green, blue, and they have that because it simplifies things. Yeah. That's awesome. That's really smart. I don't know many people that have the warehouses that keep it there.
Yeah.
Right. No, that is, and the more I talk to Joe, I'm just like, man, this guy is so smart.
Simplified. He's simplified.
He likes to be simple and does things like, wow,
Yeah.
Because I actually started doing that too. I started using the same thing. Because
it's
like, why even go like, oh, let me see what floor I'm gonna get. Just get the same thing.
Yeah.
Same light. I get the same light, same everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just makes it simple,
super
not
convenient.
overthink yourself. Like, oh, what should I do? What should I get?
Yeah. It's a rental, and especially if you're holding it too, right? I mean, you're using the same thing over and over. It's not a big deal, right? So yeah.
No, that's really nice because I see guys, some of you guys are guilty. Hold on, I got another call. Okay. Some of you guys are guilty of having your truck overloaded with a bunch of material. Oh my God. My husband was the kind of guy that carried a refrigerator in the back of the truck for a month with the straps. I was like, oh my God. We pick up the kids and they're like, oh my God, here comes your daddy, Fred.
He came with 3 refrigerators.
Girl, all kinds of refrigerators. And they were the funkiest refrigerators. Like, oh my God. And we drove around in this big old red truck, a red sled with refrigerators in the back. And and shovels.
Big things flying out the car.
Yeah, that was our storage. So some of you guys are guilty of that. I mean, there's some decent warehouses out there, storage facilities. Luke has storage. We're gonna have to call Luke Wong. Hey, where's your storage facility? We're taking all our shit over there. But that's smart. I think that keeps things away from home. Nothing's worse than you want to take me out to eat and you got a refrigerator in the back.
Hey, you gotta go inside the refrigerator.
Let's just go drive through for tacos, okay?
Sorry, we don't have space. You have to go inside the refrigerator.
Oh God, imagine the valet parker. Like, oh God. Yeah. No, that's smart. That's really that just really says a lot about your persona. You're very simple. You keep it simple.
Yeah,
He keeps it keep
Kiss,
it simple.
yeah,
stupid.
systems.
We said systems, but it's keep it simple.
Keep
stupid.
it simple,
That's very
stupid.
smart.
Yeah, Mo.
And the more people I talk to, the more that's exactly what they do.
Yeah, they just
Don't overcomplicate.
don't overcomplicate things. And a lot of people try to take the cheap way out. They're like, oh my God, it's like $200 a month, for a storage or whatever. You got a warehouse, but a little storage or whatever. But it's really, it makes things so much easier. Getting home and seeing a bunch of mess everywhere as the woman. I can imagine your wife would go crazy having all that stuff in the garage, in your truck. And I wouldn't sometimes I would
Joe knows
not.
not to even put his wife through that. So
Mhm.
he was smart enough
he
to
was
get
smart
that
enough to do it
storage.
before.
It was like that before though when we had our house. So,
It was?
Yeah. It was in the garage. We had a 3-car garage and the garages were full.
Well, that's how it is at my
Yeah.
house. It's full.
Yeah, well, at least you came in to realization that it was better to do it that way. I think it's
for sure.
important. And two, because sometimes there's closeouts on the things that you have and you can store it.
Mhm.
Because me being in material and, the way the cost of material is going up, imagine what it would cost you to replace stuff now and you didn't just save it.
To me, it's more so convenient as in like time, right?
Yeah.
So many contractors and so many, home investors, they're sitting there and they're spending so much time in Home Depot.
It's true.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
So just to get through the
I'm
lines
like,
is
it's
ridiculous.
true.
It is true.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous,
Mhm.
So if you think about it, you're like, man, like the amount of money is just crazy. So much from Amazon, and Amazon's coming all the time. But the convenience of Amazon, you might pay $1 or $2 more, but the thing is,
It's
how
the
much
time you're
time?
It's the
paying.
time.
And I like
Yeah.
that. That's very
Mhm.
smart, Joe.
Yeah.
To see us Mexicans, we're like, oh, we'll go do it for that $2.
Yeah.
We're like,
Yeah.
oh no, I'm gonna save $2. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'd rather
Yeah.
put the time.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. I'm like, really like, dude, just pay for the extra. Like
Yeah.
it's our time.
Yeah,
We don't have
because
to
if
go run around.
once you make the decision, you're willing to put yourself in that place to go wait in line for that, then you're actually putting a dollar amount for your time.
Mhm.
There we go.
And, we're worth more than that. So I mean, you should pay the delivery fee.
Yeah.
Smart.
So simple. He's so simple, so calm.
I know.
It's like he's my
Hey,
little Paxil pill.
this has been the most calm podcast that we've had.
I
Hey,
know.
we're all like, yes.
Hey, but it's still like the same valid information. It's like how everybody just approaches it. Like he's got his control behind it, and you can just see it,
Right.
know? And
No,
like I told him earlier, it's not, it's he knows his wealth. He doesn't have to express his wealth. His wealth. Sometimes the greatest wealth is peace. And being
And
able to and time and doing what you do peacefully, because there's some people that are going nuts on what they do. I was there for a long time, and now it's just gotten to a more peaceful point. And at first, with my husband and I, we would always be arguing because we'd always be, we'd argue a lot because it was like, you got to hire this person, this person, this person. I'm like, how in the hell if I can do it myself?
Time.
Yeah, I was living 3 or 4 lifetimes, instead of just getting those persons in there. And now that they're in there, I have more time to do whatever I want, And that's the end goal, to really be able to have time to live life and have that freedom. That's the end goal. Everybody's just waiting for retirement, and we can kind of, redirect the time. It doesn't have to be 65. It could be 30. It could be 40. It could be 50. It's just the way you plan things out. You just have to be a little bit more disciplined and, and figure it out. I like the way you got it.
Yeah.
I like.
So what are your goals from here to in 5 years?
Like what she said, buy time.
Mhm.
Make more money so I can have more time with the family,
Mhm.
with taking my parents on vacation, my in-laws on vacation.
Mhm.
That's what I try. That's all we live for. I that's all I care about now.
Right.
It's just having more time.
Right.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, I mean, 5
So
years.
you
from
want to just build more wealth, more.
build more systems.
There you
With
go.
your tips helping me,
Mhm,
we built
mhm,
out,
mhm.
our, direct buy from seller.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, just kind of put more systems in place and be more organized and, yeah, just grow more as a company.
Yeah. Have you bought into the CRM system yet?
He did. She hooked me up.
Good. Good.
Good. I'm glad I was able to help you, Joe.
So yeah. So right
Throw
now,
me a bone or two.
Throw me a bone.
I will. I
I'm
promise.
just kidding.
So definitely, yeah. Right now, we actually have 5 companies, which is our property management. So we do our own in-house real estate. So we have a team of realtors on our team, and then we have KA Home Buyers, which is our buy direct from sellers,
Mhm.
and then K Construction, KA Housing, which is our holding company. So
Mhm.
yeah,
The K Housing is the holding company.
KA Housing is our holding company. Yeah.
Mhm.
Nice.
And then
And you were able to put all that under one CRM, or you did different ones?
I have different ones.
Mhm.
So I mean, our property management, we use Buildium, which
Yeah.
is our rental platform,
Mhm.
and then our CRM, which is use Beast Mode, like she referred to us.
Mhm.
So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, she's trying to get me in there. I'm trying to understand it.
I'm trying to help her out because she does things that I know she can leverage, but because she's so like on the old school, like I want to do
Yes.
everything. I'm like, God, let it go. Let it
Let
go.
Let it go.
Let it go. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
get you a cold caller, get you
Yeah.
this, get you that. But you know what? It's funny because meeting like people like you guys, and you guys have something like developed, and then it's like, here we come, and it's like we feed off each other. Like, hey, I'm doing it this way, and then you're like, hey, you're doing it that way. I didn't know we could even do it
we
that
can
way.
even do it that way.
So it's nice, and that's one of the reasons it's good to network with different people
Mhm.
because you don't know, they'll teach you something, and I might not even know
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Every time I go to events, I always learn one thing, and I'm like,
One
oh
thing.
wow, you do that. I didn't even.
Mhm.
And just by changing it, it'll help a lot.
For sure. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. Network events is a big plus. The
Mhm.
good ones, right?
Yeah,
Right.
the good ones.
The good ones,
Yeah.
yeah. But you really have to put in place what you learn. Don't just listen and repeat. And there's a lot of people that want to just sound smart,
Mhm.
and they're not doing it. And I'm like, why? You go to all these networking events, and you know exactly what they're doing, but you repeat what people are saying, but you're not doing one damn thing.
Well, yeah, that's what they say. Knowledge is not power. It's
No,
action
it's
taking.
action taking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to take action. I mean,
Yeah.
what's the point of knowing all that stuff? I mean, it comes to a point where you're like, okay, how much am I going to learn before I take action?
Right.
Like the way you're going to
Mhm.
learn is taking action.
Yeah,
Learning
you'll
from
be a
mistakes.
human.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be a
That's
human
how it-
dictionary.
That's how it was whenever I started, and I messed up, but
No.
I was like, for me to learn how to flip, I need a
Mhm.
flip. So
Right.
I just kind of threw myself in there,
Mhm.
and I learned all right.
Yeah, you learn.
But I made a lot of mistakes. But that was the last
Yeah.
mistake I had. But with
Mhm.
that flip, but I would have never.
Yeah.
I don't even think like a guru can teach you that because it's
No.
like those are mistakes you.
Mm-mm,
you
no.
go
And
through,
another
so.
thing is, Andrea, you were not afraid to take the cost, of
Mhm.
what it took,
Mhm.
like, the Raphaels and all those other
Mhm.
ones to go and pay those things. There's people that they just want free, and that's all you're going to get is
I
intros.
just paid, Carlos Reyes. He's gonna start mentoring me because
Mhm.
I'm like, that's the only way you're gonna get to the next
Yeah.
level. You got to do what if you have someone doing what you want to do, you need to
Mhm.
have the mentor you to
Yeah.
help you get there because you skip time, and like you said, we want time.
Mhm.
And a lot of struggles is like, hey, just show me how to get there.
Right.
And one of the important things I learned, he said, it was like, it's not what, it's who.
It's who.
And who's gonna take you there, or who's gonna, who you're around, and
Yeah.
things like that. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, I still pay, and I think even if you get to a certain point, because what happens is you stop. You only know so much,
That's
right?
it.
So you stop growing, so you need that extra push.
Yeah. And it changes.
yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, all the freaking time.
Yeah.
I mean, what I've learned from with Raphael, we're not doing that anymore. I'm doing the completely opposite. So it's
But
like
it pushed
okay,
you through.
Yeah, it pushed me through
Yeah.
to get me here, and now I need that other push
level.
to the 9-figure.
Yeah.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah. No, and what it is, it's wholesale is wholesale. It's always going to be a contract, and that's it. The thing is that where do I find them? Where do I get them? How can I make it a consistent thing? And that's where you got to learn those niches. And if you're not in that niche, you're just going to always be dying for a contract, driving for dollars, and it can get expensive sometimes, especially now,
Yeah.
with what it is. My car was, I think, $96 to fill it up. So imagine you go drive all day. That's $100. You could have put that
Yeah.
into into somebody cold calling for you or something. It's just different things. You have
Sure.
to look at the different systems and keep going with where the world is turning. You got to keep going. You
Right.
can't stay stuck in the past because you're not going to come forward. You're just not.
Yeah, and one of the things too that Joe was saying I really like is if you're wholesaling and
Mhm.
like for us, well, for myself, the first year was like straight wholesaling. Second year was like, okay, we started doing a little more flipping and wholesaling.
Yeah.
The third year was like more wholesaling and holding now.
Yeah.
It's important because like you said, right now, I gotta keep going. Like there's
Mhm.
nowhere I'm like, hey, I gotta stop. But when you start building that cash flow,
Mhm.
it's like, hey, it's working for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually, I would like to get there, but having a plan to
Mhm.
go towards that, it's like that way you can have a real business,
Right.
not because like right now I own a job. I have to be
Mhm.
here all the time, which I don't mind, right? Because I'm building it, but eventually, like, make sure you're holding on to properties, make sure you're
Right.
keeping that. I know a lot of
Mhm.
people are like, oh, cash out, do this,
No.
which is great, but if you get a good where equity is and you're
Mhm.
building some cash flow,
Mhm.
why not?
Yeah.
Sure.
Because that's
Mhm.
going to be your time. Because if you don't, you're always going to have to be chasing that next deal.
Right.
Mhm.
Hmm. And that's what he said earlier too. There you don't always cash everything out. You don't have to. A lot of people tell me, we talked about this last night, Andrea and I. There's a lot of properties that I have that are 100% paid off, and they're like, why? A lot of people come to me, well, you should just cash out on them. For what? What am
Yeah.
I going to do with it?
What are you going to do with the money?
Go to Dollar Tree? That's I live in
true.
Dollar Tree.
Take me on vacation.
Yeah, so it's like, now if a big property or project came on, that is my pawn.
Yeah.
I'll pawn on myself. Then you take it out, but you don't take it out before just to do it, just to show money in the bank. Why am I going to do that?
Yeah,
Sure.
and you're
Leave it-
building equity.
And you're
still.
building equity. Just leave it. If anybody that really knows and has gotten to that level, they understand the term paper rich.
Yeah.
We're paper rich. We're not financially rich all in the bank. If somebody tells me they're billions, bank, it's just in the bank. It's not
even making you
invested.
money.
It's not making you money. I mean, unless you got 1%, like, like to us, our returns have to be at least 10 to 20 to, I try 50. I
Dang.
try 50.
And
but
she tries.
I try, but it has to be more than 10%. So if you can invest in yourself and learn, move your IRAs, move your money from the bank, invest in properties, things that are growing, but be wise on what you buy, because I have a property. I'm gonna give you all the address. 2401 Sampson. I tried to sell it years ago, and it wasn't the market for it. I couldn't even sell it for 300. We recently sold it because I wanted to really get out of it, and I have the 1031 exchange ready.
Mhm.
That's the only time I sell. Yes, I could have refinanced it, but it's an up and coming area, and the sales are high.
Yeah.
So I was able to get in the 300 I couldn't get 4 years ago. I got over 800. So with that being said, you have to know what you're buying. And this isn't coming from my end, it's coming from the buyer's end. It's only been 2 months that I sold that property. He evicted all the tenants. He went in there throwing them out, acting gun-ho. The property has no windows. They stole cabinets, wiring. It is a shell. There's nothing there in 2 months.
Why? What happened?
I don't know.
Wow.
Nothing is there. Can you imagine who lent this guy the money? Because he got it out of a person's IRA to lend him the money,
Oh, dang.
supposedly. Don't quote me on that one. But he did have a lender. So can you imagine how sick that lender is?
But what happened? Like, did someone do that to them?
He pretty much did it.
Oh, he probably just took everything out and
He thought he was going to start completely over. You can't do that with these old buildings. It has no parking. It's street parking. And now you have those 20-foot
Setback.
setbacks. This property was to the sidewalk, you know. And can you imagine that? Don't set yourself up for failure. If it's doing good, leave it the way it is. If you can implement a little change, change it. I had a daycare center and I passed, of course I
There you
did.
go. Oh my God.
We passed by it because last week I did a video when I went to go look at a property. I had owned the entire damn thing. We sold the daycare center. I went and looked at that daycare center. It's still making money as it sits. It has the same front door. I always complained about that door, that we needed to change that door and the windows and this and that. The same windows are there. The same mini blind is there. Nothing has changed. And they're still just making the money. So don't go in thinking you're just going to change it all. If it's working, let it keep working and implement on top. But don't go and change the whole thing. I don't know what this guy was trying to do. I know he was trying to Airbnb, and he got a mentor supposedly to get him into Airbnb. So they were 2-bedroom, 1-baths, and his plan was to chop them in half and make 1-bedrooms everywhere. Great zip code, 77004. I mean, it's a good zip code for, it's right by, like, say, Med Center, the college. It's right there. And I don't know what he thought, but that place is vacant. It's vandalized in 2 months.
Wow.
And he paid $8.99 for it.
What?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So can you imagine?
Yeah.
You have to know what you're doing going into this.
Yeah, he should have staggered the renovation.
That's it. There you go. Best word, stagger the renovation one at a time.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Or half and half, right? I don't know how many units it was, but
it was 8 units. 8 units, 2 bedrooms, 1
Damn,
bath.
you sold it really at a good price.
Yeah, I told you I tried to get 50% to 100. But the thing is that
And who was the one who bought it? Send me his info.
That property we paid in 2007, 6 or 7.
Hey, I'm gonna go back in the video to get the address.
70,000?
76,000. In fact, I was laughing with my husband last night. We were talking about that. No, the night before, because he bartered an electrical job to get as a down payment.
Oh wow.
On that owner's other property, and his son was an electrician, but his son didn't want to do it. So my husband bartered an electrical job as a down payment, and we paid $76,000 for that property. Now it was shit when we got it, but it worked.
Wow.
It worked.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love hearing it.
Yeah, so that is what we call equity, and that's what you want to bank on. 76,000 a couple years ago, selling at $8.99. Of course, we've invested all kinds of money in it, people moving, people coming back or whatever. But the thing is that it's there. You got to learn how to bank on yourself. You have to learn how to bank on yourself, and a lot of people don't understand our numerology on it, but that's just the way it is. He has the metrics and metrics, but he has it in his head the way it works for him and the way it works for us. We're trying to share it with people, but you got to pay attention when it's being said. Like, we went to a networking event yesterday. There was so many speakers up there speaking, just like we're talking right now. And it was so loud and no one was listening, or the ones that were trying to listen couldn't hear. And I was like, man, I had to step away just to go hear, because I still want to know.
Right.
These millennials, they have that secret sauce and that recipe to simple, and you can't make, they say you can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink. But if it's there and the information is there, take a sip. It's easier. It's refreshing. You've got to learn how to be open. If you're going to go to these networking events, learn. First, listen to who's speaking, and then go network. Because I know a lot of those people that were there missed a lot of information. I was peeping in, and you missed a lot of information because you're taking time away from your kids, away from your family, away from your home to go network, just to talk and chill. You can go to the playground. The world's our playground. The world is our playground. So, you have to learn to give the respect to the person that came out to talk so you can hear them. And then another thing, listen, because the things that we're talking about, it's important. It might be that one word that just changes the whole thing for you. It gives you a whole nother, the world will be a whole nother dynamic with it.
Yeah, because I remember when you went to Christina's event, and
Mhm.
I think she was talking about sub 2. And
Yeah.
You didn't know, and you learned.
Yes, I didn't know subject 2, and I went there, and she was just having a meetup, and I went, and she told me how it went. Now I didn't have all of the way it worked because it ended up wrong for me, but I still acquired 51 units from a subject 2.
And that's just from listening.
And that's
on a
just from
free event.
listening from a free event, so you have to listen. Actually, I went to her, and then a week and a half later, it came out. I think Andrea, it happens. One day, Andrea was listening to me talk about a PUD and a MUD. MUD is the municipal utility district for water, and a PUD is a private utility district, and that's in your townhomes. Townhomes have PUD. So she went to a closing, and she was like, "Oh my God, they talked about PUD."
Yeah, because they're like, oh, yours is not a MUD, it's a PUD.
It's a PUD. So she knew. So that's what I'm saying. Listen when people are talking. It's important. And when you take people's time, know that it is valuable. Even any experience you can share is valuable.
For sure.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And Joe coming out, sharing, what he has and stuff like that. It's things that we like to make things easier for people to know that we're just normal, approachable people. We're not
your deals.
Yeah, send them your deals. I mean, we're not like way up there, like, oh my God, we're not approachable. We are approachable people.
Oh, I think I look very approachable.
She's out there talking
like,
to you. Hey. Yeah. But that was cool. I mean, everything you shared today, and it was so calm.
It's so calm, so soothing.
We're not sweating.
Appreciate it.
No, but that's good, Joe. We do appreciate you coming out. I know it's your time, and I know it was last minute, like always.
And we thank your wife for allowing you to come out and share your information with us. And kudos to you and your baby.
I appreciate y'all having me for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and if somebody wants to send you a deal, where should they go?
Instagram, Joe JoeKhuat.
There you go. And your construction?
At KA Construction HTX.
KA. There you go.
KA Construction HTX.
Y'all can zoom in.
All right,
All right, guys. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Have a good one.